Welcome to Ensemble. Today we have with us our chief mentor Shri K. Siddhartha, who is a strategic thinker and advisor to many international governments, to share his insights on essays for civil mains examinations with us.
One of the most peculiar type of essay that can be asked is to pick up an abstract topic, and it can go on to be an abstract nature. Abstract nature to an extent that you have to explain and explain and explain and keep on explaining it in a variety of ways, and also to prove it. What exactly is not tangible, what exactly is intangible, and what exactly can't be proven, you have to prove that. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, belongs to that category. And to understand that part, what it is talking about sophistication. And of course, sophistication is going to be very, very subjective, all in all. Sophistication is perceived in a different manner by a good number of people in a different manner. And to correlate simplicity to it, and to say that that is sophistication, that is synonymous to sophistication, that is analogous to sophistication, and that is the ultimate sophistication, itself goes on to become sometimes a difficult process and a difficult task. But then these are very productive assets as well. So, like most of the essay, what is required in this place is first the comprehension of the topic. That's what we talked about. The second is, of course, the organization of your thoughts associated with it, and how is it that you're going to structure it from the first stage to the second stage to the last stage, and so on. Then the third part is, how is it that you're going to put it in the form of a language, and the language, not exactly the expression, but expression is going to be equally significant. For example, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication can be said in maybe 5 different ways. That becomes an expression. Then how is it that you logically proceed towards the conclusion of proving that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication? And then, of course, the conclusion, and how is it that you're going to introduce the topic here. Now, we are not talking about the techniques of essayirizing, where we are going to be concerned with how is it that in how many ways introduction can be written and how many different ways a conclusion can be written. But in this case, to make it very simple for this topic, you have to prove this point that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So, without making it too complicated, making it simple, we move on to the definition of what exactly requires to be proven. That is sophistication. What is a sophistication? Now, sophistication is one of the most desirable aspects that you go on to know. That is, it is one among the most desirable of the human quality. Either, or if you go on to seeing it subjectively, can be seen as a form of a snobbery. If you can go on to feign it out, it is snobbery. If you can go on to present it in the form of a facade, it is a snobbery. But if it is what you are originally and what you are exactly going to portray, that is indeed sophistication, because there cannot be any contradiction to that aspect. Now, as far as feigning is concerned, as far as presenting a facade is concerned, anyone can go on to present for a time being any type of a facade, but that is not sustainable. Sophistication is something that you see today, you feel it, and despite the fact that you may not going to describe it, it is very discernible in a personality, discernible in a situation, discernible in a product, discernible in a situation, discernible also with certain type of an event as well. You can go to make it out that there are going to be 2 events, and both of these 2 events take place in the same place, in the same hotel, in a same type of a lounge, but still one will be sophisticated and the other will not be. You may go on to find out that this is why it was, this is why it was not, but then ultimately you're going to say this is what you're going to feel. There are certain things that are best felt rather than rather than expressed. So, sophistication, if we do not go on to consider it is a form of a snobbery or a form of a presentation of a facade in this case, or not to dupe the people, it is one of the most desirable of the human qualities. And how is it that it can be understood? It can be understood as being uncomplicated. That is what makes it simple, not easily replicable. And when we are going to talk about that, we are not talking about it is not going to be easily replicable. Then we are essentially going to be talking about there is something that cannot be imitated easily. And if you imitate it, people understand, or anyone can go to understand that it is actually imitated. It can be logical without, as we're going to say, without too many unpleasant questions attached to it. I say it can be logical and not too many unpleasant questions can be attached. It has certain type of an aura. It can be simplistic enough not to be replicated easily by an imitative personality. It's not that you can go on to become a prototype of a one personality. It is not simplistic enough that one can go to say that you have created a replica of it. You have created a clone of it. That is why exactly it can go on to become significant in this case. So it is an aura. It is an aura. An aura is something that is not exactly easily replicated. It is like what you're going to feel, what you're going to say, what you're going to, whichever way that you're going to act, there is some degree of congruence in it. Unless you go on to feel like carrying a dress and you are able to carry it, it's no sophistication. Someone can go on to make you wear certain type of the so-called sophisticated brands. It may be Armani, it can be maybe Donna Karan, maybe Karl Lagerfeld, it may be Yves Saint Laurent, or you may be wearing a watch of Yves Saint Laurent, or maybe even Fevre Leuba, any one of them, are the Mies as well. That will not go on to make you sophisticated unless you are able to carry that product. Not exactly that. Being in a Rolls Royce, you can go on to say that you are sophisticated enough. You can be rustic enough. And I'm going to give you an example, a story. That is, some time back, some of the members of Legislative Assembly in Haryana were given BMWs. Well, they enjoyed it a lot. After some time, some 3 or 4 years of time, when their term was over and this BMW was restored, people found that there were a lot of holes in the seat of the car and they were not able to make it out. Can you imagine how is it that these holes were created? People sitting in the car smoking bidi, they used to extinguish their bidi on the seat and extinguishing it, prepared a hole of sorts, not one, thousands of it on the rear side of the car or even in the driver's seat below as well. So, product doesn't go to make you aura. It doesn't go to make you sophisticated. So, sophistication is an aura. It is being cultured and being distinctive. And of course, when we're going to say it is being distinctive, it is reflected in many ways here. It is reflected in looks and more properly expression. Now, we go on to separate and differentiate between many aspects here. First is looks. Good looks. Anyone can go on to be having good looks if their genes go on to make them so. But that doesn't go on to make them attractive. To be an attractive person, you need to have an expression. Merely looks will not go on to make you attractive at all. Maybe that is you going to be endowed with very good looks of sorts, but then the moment you're going to open your mouth, the moment you're going to take a walk, everyone goes on to know that you are not at all sophisticated. You are very rustic, not even rustic. You are something that is not to be said also. It is more expressed in form of an expression. Expression, that means your expression says a lot of things about whether you are sophisticated or not. It can be, you may not be very good looking, but then your entire expression, the way that you're going to express yourself, the body language of it, it is oozing sophistication. It is going to be in language and communication. Now, you will not go on to find that the people who go on to be sophisticated will go on to use slang language too often. That is a part of it, because this is the way that you go on to show dignity. Now, to pick it up in a different manner, you do not go on to go to a temple in wearing a jeans. That's not sophistication. Going to a temple means that you are depositing yourself in the front of the deity, and that means you have to be non-complicated. You don't have to be decorating yourself. You have to be in a single piece of a cloth, and that is complicated. That is not sophistication, despite the fact that you may be wearing some highest brands of Wrangler jeans or maybe Levi's as well. So that is expression. The way that you're going to walk, and of course the language that we are going to be talking about, body language to begin with. Your body language expresses a lot of things about what exactly you are and how is it that you're going to behave also. That is going to be one component. Of course, when you're going to be talking about communication, then communication is the use of the words that you go on to show in this case. The type of sentences that you're going to talk about, the type of mixture of language of maybe English with Hindi with any one of them, we're going to talk about it. Any person that is sophisticated, they will never ever mix two of these languages, because it is about insulting both of these languages. Maybe Telugu and English, maybe Hindi and English, maybe English and Tamil, maybe Hindi and Marathi, any one of them, that is going to be an insultation of it, insulting it. Then it also comprises thinking and its direction. Now, thinking and its direction, that means if you go on to think in certain manner, that's what exactly that you say. What you think is what you express. And in which direction? If you're thinking in terms of a tapodi, you cannot go on to express it in form of a very sophisticated and a language that is going to be very pleasant. Sophistication is pleasant as well. It's very pleasant. And of course, it will go on to have an intellectual disposition, in the sense that is maybe the choice of the words, the choice of walk, the choice of a body language will go on to reflect a lot of things about the type of a personality one it is going to be. And you cannot go on to replicate that. And this intellectual disposition is going to be associated with the outlook of the thoughts. What you think. And what you think is what is imbibed, what you have learned, what you're convinced of. What you're convinced of is what is your concept. You can go to convince others as well. And you are able to sell yourself. That is what we are talking about. That is outlook of thoughts in this space. And when you're going to express that is going to be expressed in the way that you walk, the type of languages that you use. For example, you're going to find a good number of people using a word Yaar. Now, I don't know whether you know the meaning of this word or not, but basically this was a word that was used for the pimps for the prostitutes during the Mughal Empire. It's a very, very ugly word. I mean, it's an ultimate insult. Picking up words like uncle, in this case. Now, you have a variety of type of expressions. If someone is elderly, you can go to use a variety of ways. But when you are going to be talking about talking to your maybe servants as well, some roadside people, and even an elderly person needing respect, and you're going to be billing them all with one type of a language, that's not done at all. This is not sophistication. Some of these things like what's up or what's down, and babes and buddy or maybe guys, some of these things are very ugly languages, not to be used at any point of a time, at least as far as the norm of sophistication is going to be concerned. Of course, unsophisticated aspects will go on to mean that you have a faulty language to begin with. And it's not that you can go on to express yourself with the help of a faulty language and undecorated words. Undecorated words means those type of words that are going to be by and large very unparliamentary, that are not going to be pleasant to be heard, that are not going to be pleasant to be used, that are not going to be pleasant to anyone concerned, unless you happen to belong to the same category. Unless you happen to be something like a tapodi, you will not go on to enjoy the use of those type of words, which is going to be used by a tapodi in this case. So, we are going to be talking about this is something that is reflected in language. This is something that is going to be more felt rather than proved logically, and it is this feeling that is going to be more significant. It's this feeling. It's that type of an ambience that sophistication creates that is more recognizable. Sophistication belongs to some categories. There are recognized varieties of sophistication. One of them is going to be called by the name of cultural sophistication or culturedness. That is going to be one of them. Now, cultural sophistication means the way that you have been brought up in a place. Now, there are some places where cultural sophistication is not a norm. For example, in Haryana, there are no respect-loaded words, respect-laden words. For example, whether they go on to be calling their parents, their grandparents, or anyone, they will go on to invariably use this word too. That's largely because the concept of up in Hindi that doesn't going to exist in that place. It doesn't going to exist in English also, and Hindi is going to be much more richer in the sense that is it classifies a lot of expressions. Of course, it is not imbibed from a variety of type of languages, but then there are a lot of things that can be expressed in Hindi and only in Hindi. You can imagine that is a leg is a leg in Hindi, but it can be tongue, it can be tangri, it can be par, it can be lat, anything in Hindi. Now, of course, depending on the situation and depending on how cultured you are going to be using these type of words. The second is intellectual sophistication. Intellectual sophistication is about a concept. When you're going to talk about any type of situation, when you're going to be in a debate, when you're going to be in some type of conversation, your intellectual sophistication goes on to ooze out. And how is it going to be so? You can imagine. That is, let's say you going to see one or two people in some type of a conversation and a conversation in a TV debate. You will go to find one of these persons always using the word blaming another person, can go on to use a one word, one sentence logic that will go on to dispel everything of it. You can understand that is going to be associated with intellectual sophistication. Intellectual sophistication in this case is going to be agreeing to some of those thoughts without actually agreeing to it. It's like the best sign of an intellectual mind is agreeing or listening to a conversation without actually agreeing to it. And how is it that you're going to listen it so that it doesn't go to affect your viewpoint, despite the fact that it may be imbibable, but then you learn out of it. In this case, sophisticated people always going to bring about certain type of a novelty. Sophisticated situations also going to bring about a lot of novelty and sophisticated ambiences as well. It is both. Sophistication is going to be both off and on the scene. It is going to be also, it is not only off and on the scene, it is behind the scene as well. Therefore, sophistication is going to be a character trait. It is going to be a character trait. It's not that sophistication is something that you can go to learn. It is a character trait, and it is going to be in terms of manners and simplicity as well. Your manners go on to be non-complicated. It's not that you go on to be, it's like wearing a suit with all the type of frills. You're going to be having one chain here, another chain here. Maybe that you can go to pick up people who go on to wear jewelry, and they're going to wear really garish jewelry of sorts with a huge golden chain around their arms, another golden chain here as well. And even if they go to wear certain things that are Western in nature, in suit they will go to have laden with gold chains here and there. That doesn't going to make it sophisticated at all. We are going to be talking about that this is a sophistication is going to be in character, in trait. And trait is, of course, language is one trait, body language is another trait, simplicity, that is, your thinking is another trait, the way that you go on to conduct yourself is going to be another trait, and the way that you go on to conduct your events, the way that you conduct your surroundings, that is going to be another trait. See, it's a character. If you're going to talk about a person, it's a character trait. If you're going to talk about an event, it is going to be the ambience trait. If you're going to talk about a certain type of situation, it is going to be a situation trait. And it is we're going to talk about manners and simplicity. The mannerism is again very simple in this case, and that oozes oomph of sorts. And it is this simplicity, like it's a girl without a makeup can go on to look good, very, very good, and she can go on to be very, very attractive as well. That is sophistication, all in all. This is largely because of simplicity. Sophistication is also going to be in style as well. A style, and a style is it's not going to be fashion. Understand it? Sophisticated people, the sophisticated situation always go on to be having a style. And there is a basic difference between fashion and style. Fashion is something that you go on to follow. Style is something that is very, very individual. Fashion is something that you go on to copy, you go on to imitate. And fashion is for masses, style is for leaders. Fashion is again going to be something that you're going to see, and then you go on to try to imagine yourself into it. Style is something that is very, very individualistic. And when you have very certain things that are very individualistic, of course that is simple. Simple because what I am not, I am trying to be by imitating something that is not simplicity at all. So sophistication is actually style, and simplicity in style as well. And sophistication is excellence. And when we're going to say sophistication is excellence, that means to be simple is a real deal. It's a real deal in the sense that is you require to unclutter a lot of things to achieve certain things. Anyone in the world who has achieved anything, they are very, very simple in their thought. They are very clear in their thought. They are very focused in their thought. And the more uncluttered that you are, the greater is the chance of you achieving the highest echelons of achievement in this case. And that is excellence. We go on to talk about that is simplicity is always going to be a bigger achievement. And simplicity is a much bigger achievement because of the fact that simplicity is actually excellence. Excellence and simplicity, both of them go on to be almost same. While sophistication talks about excellence, simplicity also goes to talk about the same thing here. And as Mahatma Gandhi said some time back, in essence, in form, in everything, the supreme excellence is simplicity. Sophistication is helped by many other factors. For example, it is going to be an individual trait. An individual trait can go on to be, if you go on to be very, very knowledgeable, you will ultimately explain a lot of things in the most simplistic manner possible. That is an individual trait. You will go on to find that people who are really worth something, they are down to earth, largely because they have seen all of those arrogances that you go on to getting yourself associated with. Initially, anyone who will go on to get a name or a fame, you're going to find that goes on to eat into it, that goes on to get them inserted into it, and they lose their mind, they lose their sleep, they lose their personality, and then they start thinking that they are the one who have created this universe. Individually, you will go on to find that a person individually will be good enough, he will be big enough, and he will also be one such type of a person who will go on to be one who will always be improving upon himself. And when you keep on improving yourself, you keep on discovering new styles. When you keep on improving yourself, you always keep on learning new styles. You always keep on presenting your new style. And every style that you're going to present, that becomes very, very unique to it. And that is what sophistication is. So it is individual trait. The second is it also relates to the will to simplify certain things. And when we say there is a willingness to simplify, ability to simplify, first is willingness. That means you want to simplify certain things. So if it is like that, you like to go to a party wearing all the type of good clothes, good watches, and so on. Now, if that is your thinking, then you present yourself in that manner. That is simplification. Now, you you don't going to be liking these things, and still you try to portray it so that you wish that people going to understand you in such a manner that you have big amount of wealth. That is complication. Complicated things will never ever look sophisticated at all. We are talking about what you think, what you say, whichever way that you act. If there is a complete congruence between all of these, this is simplicity. So that is the first thing, is that you have to have a will. If you are going to be simple, you have to open yourself, and you have to defend everything of yourself, and you have to defend it in the most genuine manner. I repeat, genuine manner. So that is going to be will. Ability, that means whether you can actually going to simplify whatever that you think of in the most simple manner, in the sense that is you again go on to make simple sentences, simple concepts, and it's like that you like to maybe drink liquor, you like to go to outside locations in India, and you going to live like a king size, and you're going to say that this is something that I going to like. I like because I like. Of course, likings don't going to be having a logic. Now this is simplification. But if you go on to be inside, you're going to be feeling it like so, and then you're going to presenting it as if you're a saint, as if you're a maverick. That's not simplicity at all. That means you don't have the ability to simplify it. You will going to find many people who will go on to be most complicated, and they are going to be one of the worst souls that the earth has produced. They will go on to wear fabric, they will go to wear an apparel that going to make them look like as if they're saintly of sorts. Now, that is not an ability to simplify it. You're complicating it because you're trying to befool someone by presenting a facade that is going to be different, and what you are, that is of course going to be very, very different. The other is of course culture. That is culture is how exactly that you have been brought up. It is your upbringing. We are going to be talking about upbringing. And upbringing means that if you have been in a type of a family where this is what has been your upbringing, that is what you are, what you should go to portray, you will always be like that. Maybe that there will be some people, some children in that family that will going to become deviant of sorts. But that is what exactly determines it. So, all in all, simplicity in this case will go on to mean a lot of things. Why are we going to be talking about simplicity? Because ultimately you must be having a will to simplify. But what exactly is simplicity? Simplicity is being in consonance with your thinking, attitude, perception, and action. It's like, let's say you have perceived something, and you go on to express you're going to express your perception in a completely contradictory manner. That's not simplicity at all. Simplicity is all about first thing that is going to be what you think, what you act, what you say is completely in consonance with each other. Simplicity is freedom from cluttered thoughts. That means you don't have cluttering of the thoughts also, and either. And when we are talking about cluttering of the thoughts, if you are having a cluttered thought, then off and on your cluttering of the thoughts will going to express yourself in many ways. And when we say that is, it will going to express yourself in many ways. It will going to be in your language. It will going to be in your action. It will going to be in words. It will going to be in your interaction with the society. Simplicity is being oneself. What you are is what you are. You don't have to be. You don't have to be very, very regretful of the fact that what you are is what you should not be. It is being oneself. If it is you go on to be having a liking for certain things and having a disliking for certain things, and you are able to express that part, that is simplicity. And because you are uncluttered, you are able to express it. Simplicity is being happy. Simplicity is about taking bold stance, not being neutral. Who are the people who are going to be neutral? People who want to always go with the status quo. They will always go on to be neutral. You're going to find that is if you go on to present a situation in front of someone and they require to take a stance, and what they do is that they keep quiet. You can understand that they're very, very, very dangerous people. Largely because they have not taken a stance, they have not said yes, they have not said no, and that means that at an opportune time they will going to say, I never liked that, or I like that part, I'm with you, I'm not with you. That is very, very complicated. That is not sophistication at all. And you will going to find that it is devoid of sophistication in this case. And most of the people who do go on to take a stance, who do go on to say, that is going to call a spade, they are actually bold, and that is glamour. That is sophistication. They may not go to say in the most garish language, they're going to say in a language that is going to be present to be of sorts. Simplicity, therefore, is glamour, and it is difficult to be simple. And simplicity is always being in love with oneself, with yourself. And when we say that is being in love with yourself, it basically means that you like the situation in which you are. You like the way that you are. You like also the way that, whichever way that you're going to think that you are, because you are always going to be changing yourself, and you are always going to be bringing about certain type of change in yourself as well. That is, simplicity is going to be always in being in love with yourself. In a non-simplistic way, that means if supposing you're not simplistic, the manifestation is different. That means the way that you portray that is going to be different. The intent is different, and the facade is different. And there is no coherency in these things at all. It's like you say that you go on to you're going to find a lot of so-called netas who will going to say that they're all for the poor, but inside they're going to say that you can go to make it out that they are not at all so. That is, they are speaking a complete lie. It's a different matter that it's a politics of numbers, and consequently they may have been able to befool someone, and that's the reason that they are where they are. And their intent is different. Everyone whose intent is dualistic, they will always go on to keep quiet as per the question whenever they have to take a side. They will not going to take this side, they will not going to take this side, because their intent is different. Their intent is it's not going to be in a complicated situation. Their intent to be with a person at one point of a time, with another person at another point of a time. And that's why we say that is non-simplistic way of manifestation is going to be different. And to be simple requires, of course, simplicity means that you have to work on yourself. Simplicity means that you are going to be yourself. Simplicity means that you are able to defend every action that you have taken or are going to be taking. So to be simple, that requires strength, that requires courage. You require to be open. You always require to be progressive and adaptable, because you keep on adapting to different type of situations, with different type of people. You keep on learning, and keep on changing your thoughts, keep on changing your perspective, and keep on expressing your perspective also. And that's the basic reason that simplicity is not a trait of the weak. It is not a trait of the uneducated person. It is not a trait of the perception-driven or judgmental people. Most of the complicated people are the most judgmental one also. And why is it that they're judgmental? Because the way they think, that's the way that they're going to think that the whole world is. And to a given situation, they will just go on to say that if this was the situation, this is what I'm going to think, because this is what I am. And that is being very, very complicated. And anyone who is going to be judgmental, they will never going to learn. Because judgmental people are not good learners. They were never learners at all. Learners are always those people who are always, in every type of situation, they are non-judgmental, because they keep on receiving this information. Judgmental people keep on giving this information and keep on passing some remarks in this case. Simplicity means excellence. And this excellence means that is, in trying to be simple, you have sorted out, you have classified, you have identified, and also you have come to a conclusion about yourself, about the world, about a person, about a situation, about any type of an idea, and that means excellence. It is this excellence that is sophistication. And that we have said that is in character, in manners, in style, the supreme excellence is a simplicity. Simplicity is this is what simplicity means. So how is it that simplicity can go on to help sophistication? Simplicity doesn't show what you are. It doesn't go to show what you are. It reflects these with an aura and aplomb. Now, if you are going to be having an aura, you don't require to prove with a lot of people who will go on to prepare a facade for you, going to praise, he has come, he has come, he has come, and that there will be trumpets that start beating here and there. You will go to any place and people will get you noticed that you are the one person who has done it so. As we say, great people don't have a point to prove. The point proves itself in this case. This is largely because simplicity creates aura. Simplicity creates originality. Simplicity is indeed originality. Simplicity unclutters you. It doesn't go on to make you think complicated manner. Simplicity allows you to achieve largely because if you have an uncluttered mind, you are very focused, you are very much on the track, and you keep on moving faster as well. If you are simple, you will be very understanding as well. Understanding of the situation, understanding of the people, understanding of the conditions, and of course, simplicity will go on to be creating endurance. When simplicity marks endurance because it is going to be something that will going to last with you. Complications don't going to last because complications will go to mean that you have to remember a lot of things. Simplicity means that they are going to be naturally in you and that goes into rest with you. Simplicity is something that is going to be always sustainable, and it is this sustainability that is going to be marked. It is a sign of sophistication. What someone goes on to take a look at you today, they look at you tomorrow, they look at you after 10 years, 5 years, and they do going to find that you have been the same person. That is sustainability, and that is going to be very recognizable as well. We're going to find that in a crowd, if someone is able to make a mark, it's not because someone goes on to wear an Armani suit, someone goes on to be, as we have talked about, they go on to be using a Gucci shoe also. Simplicity makes you very recognizable. Simplicity is a signature. It's a signature, and that identity itself is a signature. That is what we're going to say. That is simplicity is a signature, and that identity itself is sophistication. That means if you are simple, and that is your mark, that is your brand, that is your image, and that is sophistication.
We are thankful to Shri K. Siddhartha for sharing his valuable time with us. To have more such discussions and analysis, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on our upcoming videos.